This is a program, Moscow-Mosaic, and I'm the host, Mike Gibson. Today, together with you, we'll mark a new point on the map of all our travels. Not long ago, we were in China, but this time we've gone even further to one of the Asian countries most distant from Moscow. So in this episode, it's all about the remarkable island nation of the Philippines. I hope you'll discover a lot of new and interesting things together with me today. So stay tuned. On today's program, the Moscow government and the Manila City Hall have signed a cooperation program.
Today, Manila is one of the most active partners of Russia's capital.
Philippine chess players surprised a Moscow grandmaster.
I could feel they wanted to fight. I felt that they were really looking forward to this game, and I couldn't tell that they were nervous.
The Moscow-Manila New Horizons of Cooperation Forum. Moscow business is forging ties with the Philippines.
To all the people who are here and open to having business exchanges with their brothers and sisters from Russia, please do.
Flowers were laid at the Pushkin monument in the center of Manila.
Today, we wanted to share our respect, admiration, and make it an aspiration to any Filipinos, young and professional, about Alexander Pushkin.
Manila is captivated and enchanted by Russian ballet.
I felt that ballet is in their souls, that they love Russian ballet in particular.
The Philippines is a state in Southeast Asia comprising more than 7,000 islands. Nearly 2 million people live in the country's capital, Manila. It is one of the most densely populated megacities in the world. Its population density is 8 times higher than Moscow's. Manila is a city where skyscrapers and technologies of the future stand side by side with historic buildings and ancient quarters. And this is one of the most recognizable buildings in the Philippines. It's the Cathedral of Manila. The Manila Cathedral is a legacy of the country's complex past. For more than 330 years, the Philippines was a Spanish colony. It was the Spanish who converted the local population to Catholicism. Another colonial legacy of Manila, and one might say one of the city's symbols, is the distinctive jeepney minibus. These are converted American military vehicles left behind after more than 40 years of American rule. Every jeepney is a unique work of artisan engineering. No two jeepneys in all of Manila look the same, and you cannot help but admire this vibrant form of public transport. Manila, the capital of the Philippines, is located nearly 8,000 kilometers from Moscow, yet it is much closer than it may seem. The two capitals share long-standing, strong business and friendly ties, and diplomatic relations between Russia and the Philippines were established exactly 50 years ago. Today, a large delegation from the Moscow government, led by Minister Sergei Cheromin, is arriving in Manila to hold the Moscow Days event. The first meeting on the minister's agenda is with the mayor of Manila, Mr. Domagasso. We are very fortunate to be able to attend this meeting today. In the historic building of the City Hall, Manila's mayor, Francisco Isco Moreno Domagoso, welcomed the Moscow delegation headed by Minister and Head of the Department for External Economic and International Relations of Moscow, Sergei Cheromin. Also present at the meeting was the ambassador of the Russian Federation to the Republic of the Philippines, Marat Pavlov. In this anniversary year of Russian-Philippine diplomatic relations, the meeting is significant not only for Moscow and Manila, but also for strengthening ties between the two countries.
This year we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relationship between two countries. And for us it's a very important event and the Moscow government will continue to implement its city-to-city diplomacy that helps us a lot to establish more profound and more solid world and sustainable development of our cities.
In 2023, Moscow and Manila signed a cooperation agreement, making Russia's capital the first region of Russia to establish a partnership with the capital of the Philippines. In May 2026, the time came to renew that document.
We now proceed to the highlight of today's ceremony, the formal signing of the renewal of the cooperation program between the city government of Manila and the government of Moscow.
The new agreement is designed for 3 years and covers virtually every sphere of modern city life, from improving transport systems to environmental protection. The program also expands ties between Moscow and Manila in the humanitarian and sporting spheres.
This agreement with Moscow is a statement that Manila is ready to engage globally, as always. This cooperation program creates concrete pathways in tourism, culture, education, and trade that will directly benefit our residents, both Manila and Moscow.
On June the 2nd, 1976, an agreement establishing diplomatic relations between the USSR and the Philippines was signed in Moscow. 50 years later, a major business forum dedicated to this important milestone is now being held here in the center of Manila. The business portion of the Moscow Days program in Manila continued with an important gathering of business representatives from the two countries, the Moscow-Manila New Horizons of Cooperation Business Forum. Last year, the volume of foreign economic ties between Russia's capital and the Philippines amounted to $200 million, less than 0.1% of Moscow's total trade turnover with all countries in 2025. Moscow and Manila have enormous potential for growth.
We think that not only oil seeds and fruits, pharmaceutical products, or heavy engineering products could be prevailing in our exports and imports operations, but also city technologies are very important to manage metropolises nowadays. And we think that Moscow's experience could be very precious to Manila. Russia is a big country, but the heart of Russia is, of course, Moscow. And we hope that the many difficulties we have in our way to unlatch cooperation, these difficult times will be over, and trade turnover will begin to grow by the end of this year. To all the people who are here and open to having business exchanges with their brothers and sisters from Russia, please do, because the mayor and I, as well, wish that Manila can have a warmer relation with Moscow.
During the break, forum participants and guests had the opportunity to learn a great deal about the 50-year history of relations between the two countries. This is a photo exhibition about the history of relations between the Philippines and Russia. Pay particular attention to this photograph. This is exactly the moment when the historical agreement was signed between the Philippines and the USSR. The photo exhibition featured numerous rare photographs taken during important visits, negotiations, cultural events, and meetings over 50 years of friendship between the two countries. Also on display in the Business Forum foyer was an exhibition of Russian IT companies presenting their solutions to Philippine colleagues. Among the exhibits was a Moscow-developed open sovereign platform for educational robotics designed to prepare the new generation capable of achieving a technological breakthrough. Such developments are undoubtedly of interest to all states that defend their national interests.
Not a single government in any country of the world has ever told us that what we offer is not relevant. Everyone needs it. And accordingly, we work at a countrywide and regional level, helping them move away from humiliating dependence on foreign technology and software suppliers. Sometimes it is necessary to invite entrepreneurs or businesses to help the state show something, explain something, implement something. A great many initiatives have been delivered in Moscow together with entrepreneurs. And Moscow's business community does not ask for money. It offers solutions, its own initiatives to implement things together with the state. We had a wonderful forum, Moscow-Manila, New Horizons of Cooperation. We spoke about new technologies in city management. The companies that took part in the presentations immediately found partners in the Philippines. And one of the companies signed a memorandum of cooperation in the field of digitalization.
The Philippines is a sporting nation. Despite the hot and humid climate, Manila has many outdoor basketball courts on which someone is always playing or training. Basketball is one of the most popular sports here, but other competitions are not forgotten either, and they are even held in the most unexpected of places. For instance, as part of the Moscow Days, one such tournament was held in one of Manila's largest shopping centres. And right now, here, one of the most exciting moments of the Moscow Days event is about to begin, the Russian-Philippine chess tournament. Despite the unusual venue, the tournament participants had all passed a rigorous selection process on a national level. Out of several hundred contenders, only 20 players made it through to the final. Standing against them and defending the honor of the Russian chess school was Moscow grandmaster Ivan Popov. He played alone against 20 Philippine chess players.
I could feel that they wanted to fight. I felt that they were really looking forward to this game, and I couldn't tell that they were nervous. I felt they had prepared for a long time and were really eager for this encounter. They wanted to put up a fight.
The tense game was watched not only by numerous shopping centre visitors and members of the Moscow delegation, but also by representatives of the Philippine chess community, including the first grandmaster from Southeast Asia, Eugenio Torre, who warmly recalled his legendary matches with the great Anatoly Karpov.
Chess has become very popular here in the Philippines. Of course, Russia is responsible for that also, because you have many great players and many tournaments. The first time I played against a Russian, it was with Anatoly Karpov. That was way back in 1969 in Stockholm, Sweden. And in that tournament, he won, you know. That's why he became the world junior champion in 1969.
The Russian-Philippine tournament, featuring the best local chess players and Moscow grandmaster Ivan Popov, lasted several hours and ran well into the late evening. In the meantime, our crew headed to the next event in the packed program of Moscow Days in the Philippines. Behind me is the Metropolitan Theatre. Right here, now, will begin the most beautiful event of the Moscow Days in the Philippines. The Metropolitan Theatre is one of the most beautiful and unusual structures in Manila. It was built in 1931, blending the Art Deco style with traditional Filipino elements. The theatre has been granted the status of National Cultural Treasure. On this May evening, it played host to a Russian National Cultural Treasure, ballet artists from the Bolshoi Theatre and the Stanislavski and Nemirovich Danchenko Musical Theatre. One might say that all of Manila, led by its mayor, came to this unique performance in which the finest pieces of the Russian ballet school could be seen within a single hour.
This is our brand, our strength, our joy of art, and we want to share it. I envy today's audience who will discover ballet in what I would call its most perfect form, because the finest soloists are here, from the Bolshoi, from the Stanislavski. Watch, enjoy, and understand that Russian ballet leads the world.
The performance by the ballet companies of Moscow theatres left an indelible impression on the Philippine audience. Each number was met with prolonged applause and loud exclamations from the crowd. It was a true triumph of Russian ballet.
The reception was so warm that I understood why it is so warm outside as well. The welcome was just the same. It's clear that the Philippine audience loves ballet. I hope that next year, or perhaps even sooner, we will come back with a full-length 2-act ballet. And we will amaze the Philippine audience, because I felt that ballet is in their souls and they love Russian ballet in particular. I didn't even expect such a warm reception, and we were so very glad to be welcomed so warmly. It's always a responsibility because you want to show the level, not let anyone down, and keep the bar from dropping so that people will speak and think well of us for a long, long time.
After the concert, members of the Moscow delegation, the Russian ambassador to the Philippines, and the mayor of Manila came on stage at the Metropolitan Theatre to congratulate the Moscow artists on their triumphant performance.
It was fabulous. This is the first time I've watched in person Russian ballet dancers. They dance very gracefully. No, it seems that they are walking in the clouds while dancing. So it's very, for me personally, it is very life-changing to see them in person performing.
They were so magnificent that, as we say, there was a standing ovation. People truly rose to greet such a wonderful, polished performance from our masters today.
In 2010, a monument to the great Russian poet Alexander Pushkin was unveiled in the center of Manila. It was the first joint project between Russia and the Philippines in more than 30 years of diplomatic relations. Today, once again, representatives of both countries have gathered at this monument. The second day of Moscow Days in the Philippines continued at the Pushkin Monument. Minister of the Government of Moscow, Sergei Cheromin, Russian Ambassador to the Philippines, Marat Pavlov, and Mayor of Manila, Francesco Damagoso, laid flowers at the monument to the poet. They also spoke important words about the need to develop cultural exchange between the capitals of Russia and the Philippines.
Students took part in the solemn wreath-laying ceremony at the Pushkin Monument, and that too is one of the most important symbols of our friendship and cultural cooperation. The events that took place during the Moscow Days demonstrated enormous interest amongst the young people in Moscow.
Today, we wanted to share our respect, admiration, and make it an aspiration to any Filipinos, youngs and professional, about Alexander Pushkin, so that the next generation who will pass by be reminded of greatness of Alexander Pushkin and shared or contribution to the world.
The Pushkin Monument is located next to the University of Manila. The Moscow delegation is now heading there in order to introduce the students to Moscow and Russian culture. On the ground floor of the university, guests and students were welcomed by an exhibition dedicated to the poet Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin. This exhibition about Pushkin is very informative. I have in fact learned some new interesting facts about the great Russian poet. Students from several faculties of the University of Manila gathered for the meeting with Moscow guests. They listened with great interest to Sergei Cheromin's account of modern Moscow and its achievements, as well as a lecture by the director of the State Pushkin Museum, Yevgeny Bogotyryov, on the great Russian poet.
One cannot think poorly of Pushkin. And if people here speak of Pushkin, it means they are drawing an equation. Since one cannot think poorly of Pushkin, one cannot think poorly of Russia, of the Russian people, or of Russian affairs. Pushkin, therefore, is the very key that opens the door to a proper understanding of Russia as a state.
After the informative lecture, the famous Moscow folk ensemble Lyubomila took to the university stage, and within just a few minutes, to the delight of the performers, the entire audience was singing along to familiar Russian songs. And then Manila students and teachers, Moscow guests and myself and everyone else broke into dance and whirled together in a joyful circular dance of friendship between Russia and the Philippines. It was that truly remarkable moment when music brought Moscow and Manila genuinely together. The Manila portion of the packed Moscow Days in the Philippines program concluded with an official state reception in honor of the 50th anniversary of the establishment of Russian-Philippine diplomatic relations. Guests were personally greeted by the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Russia to the Republic of the Philippines, Marat Pavlov, and his wife. The national anthems of both countries were performed, after which Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov addressed those gathered via a video screen. In his remarks, he noted that the strong and genuinely friendly relations between the two states have stood the test of time, and once again underscored that the Russian Federation remains a reliable partner of the Philippines despite the unstable situation in the world.
In June of this year, a Jubilee Summit marking the 35th anniversary of relations between Russia and ASEAN will be held in Kazan. The current chair of the association is the Philippines, one of the founding members of the organization. Russia is interested in further deepening its strategic partnership with ASEAN, including in the interests of building an architecture of equal and indivisible security and broad cooperation in the Asia-Pacific region and across our shared Eurasian continent as a whole. I am pleased to note that our relations are developing steadily. I believe that an important contribution to this process is the interaction between the two countries on an interregional level. In this regard, I would particularly like to emphasize the role of Moscow, naturally, as the heart of our homeland. The Manila City Hall has confirmed to us that it will participate in the International Municipal Forum in Moscow to be held on the 23rd and 24th of November. As is traditional, our colleagues will also take part in the Moscow Transport Summit. And overall, I believe that the Moscow Days were truly a great success.
The Manila portion of the Russian capital's days in the Philippines drew to a close. However, the Moscow delegation's visit to this wonderful country did not end there. Next comes a flight to the island of Cebu to to the city and province of the same name, where the Moscow days will continue for 3 more days. Which means that in our next episode, we will once again find ourselves in the Philippines, bringing you the highlights of the Moscow days in the Republic of the Philippines.